Hey, what's up, squad? We're going to go over our PDN before we talk about comparing fractions with the same denominator. The first part of our PDN is 3 parts. We're going to look at this picture here of the shaded fraction and talk about it as a fraction in word form and how many equal parts equal this whole. Looking at our page, I have the same fraction drawn out on my page. There are 1, 2, 3 parts shaded, which I know the total number of shaded parts is always my numerator, and there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total parts. My denominator is always the total number of equal parts, so this fraction is 3/6. As I write 3/6 out, I'm going to write 3-6, and there are 6 equal parts that equal the whole. We're going to do some review of placing a fraction on a number line. This fraction is 3/8, so I need to make 8 equal parts between 0 and 1 in my KitKat bar, which means I draw 7 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I'm going to shade in 3 of those parts. Since my numerator is 3, 1, 2, 3. I stop, dot, and I'm going to write 3/8 there. The last fraction is 1/5. I have to draw my box between 0 and 1, and I'm going to draw 4 lines to make 5 parts since 5 is my denominator. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I shade in 1 of those parts since my numerator is 1. Draw my line down, dot, and plot 1/5 on my number line. Today, we're going to be talking about comparing fractions with the same denominator. A proper fraction is a part of a whole. When fractions have the same denominator, it means they have the same number of total and equal parts. So we're going to look at 2 examples here. The first one is 3/4 compared to 4/4, and the next one is 5/8 compared to 3/8. We're going to be using inequality symbols today. The gator always eats the greater. As we use those, if we read these symbols, this is greater than, is less than, and is equal to. Let's look at our page for some of our examples. Number 1 is 3/4 and 4/4. I'm going to compare this fraction by drawing in my bar and seeing which fraction is greater. For 3/4, I already have 4 equal parts. Since that's my denominator, I'm going to draw in 3 of those. 1, 2, 3, and that's 3/4 of my whole. I'm going to draw in 4 parts here for 4/4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just looking at these bar models, I see that 4/4 takes up more of my whole, which means 4/4 is greater than 3/4. Or if I were to read this, I would write 3/4 is less than 4/4. The gator always eats the greater. 3/4 is less than 4/4. Here I have 5/8 and 3/8. Looking at my bar model, I'm going to fill in 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts here. I'm going to fill in 3 underneath, 1, 2, 3. For 3/8, I see that 5/8 takes up more of my whole than 3/8. So 5/8 is greater than 3/8. Gator eats the greater. If I read this, it's 5/8 is greater than 3/8. So if you noticed here, for each of these fractions, when they have the same denominator, the greater fraction is always the one with the larger numerator. 3 is less than 4. 5 is greater than 3. When the denominators are the same, the larger the numerator, the larger the fraction. And indeed, that is our rule. When fractions have the same denominator, the larger the numerator, the larger the fraction.